focused. Yeah, how will we choose? We worship in spirit and truth. Stay focused. Don't be a fool. Study to show thyself approved. Stay focused. Israelite blood in my chest. The word manifested in flesh. Stay focused. Hebrews, we got next. So never abandon your post.
For those of you who don't know what precept upon precept, line upon line means, I will try to explain really quick. The book of Isaiah chapter 28 verses 9 and 10 reads, "Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little." What this means is that those he will teach knowledge and make to understand his doctrine are those that are weaned from the milk, meaning those who have read the entire Bible and understands the basics of it, which shows that reading the Bible in its entirety is good and must be done first, but it's not enough to give you knowledge and understand doctrine. In order to do that, you must use precept upon precept and line upon line, which essentially means that once you find the topic or subject that you want more knowledge about, you have to find that subject in other books or different chapters and connect those verses together. The more verses you find on that subject, the more understanding you will have. That's why it says here a little and there a little. For an example, when reading about Passover in the book of Leviticus, which reads, "In the 14th day on the first month at even is Yah's Passover, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yah. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread." Based on these verses alone, one might think that Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread are two separate feast days, that you would keep the Passover on the 14th day of the year, then on the 15th day, you would start a 7-day count of eating unleavened bread, making the feast days a combined total of 8 days. Now with precept upon precept, line upon line, we get better understanding of how to keep the Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread. Exodus chapter 12, verse 18 reads, "In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread, until the 21st day of the month at even." So when we put the lines written in Leviticus upon the lines written in Exodus, we get a better understanding when we bring them together. Leviticus says that we should eat unleavened bread for 7 days, but the book of Exodus says that the feast is over on the 21st day at evening. Now, if you started your count based on Leviticus 23 on the 15th day, then you would end your feast on the 22nd day and not the 21st day. But the book of Exodus says that the feast starts on the 14th day at evening. Why? Because you must eat unleavened bread with your Passover meal. Passover is actually day 1 of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So if you start your 7-day count on the day of Passover, your feast will end on the 21st day as it's supposed to, and not on the 22nd. So we had a little understanding of the feast days using just one passage. By adding another passage on top or putting precept upon precept, line upon line, we get more knowledge and are able to understand doctrine. Then with here a little and there a little, we find supporting verses such as Mark chapter 14, verse 12, which tells us that the first day of unleavened bread is the same day that they killed the Passover.
Stay focused. Yeah, how will we choose? We worship in spirit and truth. Stay focused. Don't be a fool. Study to show thyself approved. Stay focused. Israelite blood in my chest. The word manifested in flesh. Stay focused. Hebrews, we got next. I preach the McGills and eggs. Stay focused. Yeah, how will we choose? We worship in spirit and truth. Stay focused. Don't be a fool. Study to show thyself approved. Stay focused. Israelite blood in my chest. The word manifested in flesh. Stay focused. Hebrews, we got next. So never